Hello, everyone. Welcome to BizChicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today we are here with Coach Caren Fern, all the way from Toronto, Canada. She's in the house, and we are always excited when she's here. Coach has so much to share. She has such a wide background and a deep well of experience in the area of business. So, without further ado, we're going to get this party started. We want to give a shout out to all of you watching live and on the replay. And without further ado, here's Coach Caren Fern. Hey, Coach, what's happening?
Well, today we're talking about giving because last week we covered the money planning part and your feelings and what have you. And once you understand that, now we're talking about giving. Do you give money or your time generously? And number two, why? Like, what is the reason? Like, how you feel about it? I hope it's not forced. Don't anybody force you, but it's a good feeling, okay? And how has this affected you? Simple things, but simple important things, guys. Simple important things. I have to bring this in. Do you give of your time? I haven't volunteered in a little while after Corona and stuff, but volunteering is just part of my heart. I just enjoy giving back to people, whether it's money or it's time. Volunteering is time mostly, and it just feels good. And when I say giving generously, it could be simple as how the BizChicks give back here. You go to YouTube and somebody's teaching you something. That's the way they're giving back, whether you realize that or not. They're giving their time, yes. Eventually they earn something from it, but it's really they're giving up their time. When people show you to make something online, I'm working on a series of making a bag right now, for example. And I do different series I'm working on for my DIY channel. It's called Satisfying Saturdays. There's no videos on there right now, but it's ready to go. And so it just will allow me to work in my creativity and share it with people.
I love it.
For beginner sewers, people who can't cook. So those are the kind of stuff that I'll be having on that video, on that channel. And so you want to build that in. On my cleaning website, I used to have it 10% of a Pacific Potion goes to some sort of charity.
Absolutely.
So you have those sort of things built in, like you're not waiting for it. Another thing I always would tell small business owners, you can have built-in sales and not worry about only specialties. And that's a form of giving back. Even though it's doing good for your company, but you're also giving back. You're giving 10%, 20%, whatever that number is. And you work it into your work-ins as you plan your business. So it's not, somebody's giving sales, so I'm going to follow them. No. If in April is the time you want to give, that's when you give. You decide 2 or 3 months a year that you're going to do these splurges, and you do them and you stick to it, and you watch how things happen. There's no, I don't believe in accidents and coincidences. I think things happen because they're supposed to happen. And if you start living your life like that, for your business, for yourself, you'll notice opportunities will present themselves so that you can do it. The minute you set it up, opportunities will present itself so you can do it.
Wow. You know something, there is something about this time of year that just makes me want to give even more. But I have a question about the joy of giving. I have found that in general, people really can be very generous with their time and their energy, especially women. We will give away our whole life. And try to be okay with that, and then realize maybe I have overextended myself in the area of giving, and I no longer expect to even receive,
Right.
nor am I able to receive,
Yes.
because if I get it, I'm just giving it away. So I'm not comfortable with receiving things. How do we handle that?
This is what I was reading a book or watching a movie. I read a book. Oh, and this woman said something. She said, "I just want to be mothered," because of the stress that was happening to her. And when I read that statement, I said, so many people just want to be mothered. Just meaning they just want to be cared for at this moment because life is hard and beating them up. And so the reason why the number two question was just why is because when you understand why you're doing, you don't go over the boundary of doing. So you're tired and you know fully well today is volunteer day, but you can't make it. Don't wait until the day of. Call whoever, whichever organization you're with, and let them know for the next session you wouldn't be attending or the next two sessions. That is you taking back time for yourself.
Mm.
This is something my dad taught me. And here's why. This was work. He says, Karen, when you work somewhere, I don't want you to go to work all the time, and all the time. Like, why are you repeating yourself? He says, because you're training your boss. When you get a job, you train your boss. So if you don't call off sick, if you don't take some time for yourself, this is before Canada started giving professional days. Like we have that now. You can just take professional days, I think about 7 a year.
Mm-hmm.
But he said you want to train your boss to not expect you 365 days a year. And so you want to build in these sort of things. And that is some kind of a boundary he was talking about there, right? So the same thing with us as women for giving. So for, if you've got things to do, you have to know, like case in point, I have my daughter every other week, my granddaughter come here. And I help her with getting her to school. My daughter appreciates it and what have you. But I'm getting ready for Christmas. So I like clean my house, give it a deep clean and what have you. And, things come up and pop in. And like my husband would say, Karen, you want to help? Do X, Y, and Z. I'm like, no, I don't want to help. Like literally, no, I don't want to help. And that's not because I don't want to help, because what I'm doing, I'm not adding to it because I'm doing it already, or I'm not taking away my time from what I'm doing to help with this new project. And it took me a long time because when I was freshly married, I didn't think I said a lot of no. And I didn't realize I didn't say a lot of no's. I didn't know that I didn't say it. And then I finally had to realize I have to say no because I am burning at more than two ends of the candle. If a candle is round and it have 20 ends, all those ends were being burned. All of
Exactly.
you understand? So that's why I say why. Because if you're going to give generously, coming back to the planning, how much times a month, I have a way of, when I'm coaching, I would tell my clients, I said, how many yes are you willing to give each week or each month, depending on the client? I'm like, I want to stick to it. If you say you got 5 yeses in your pocket, that's it. If you give them all away on Monday or Tuesday, you have no more yeses Wednesday to Saturday. You have to get a new week to get more yeses in. So if you say yes to a network meetup, and you say yes to a friend, and you say yes to your hubby or your children, and now all the yeses are gone, it's over. You can't say another yes. And that might mean somebody's in the hospital that you need to go visit, and you say, I don't have any more yeses, so I'll see the person next week. And you say, well, Karen, well, here's the thing. You can't stop them from dying. And truly, there's a telephone so you can speak to them. And if it's your mom, you would have been and visit her. She'd have been part of the yes. So you know what I mean? You have to know. And you can't feel that if you don't, the world is going to come to an end. Because it's really not gonna. You might not be here when that happened.
You know what? I express it this way. Leave something for Jesus to do.
I love that so much, Terry. When you first said it, I was like, this is like so good.
Okay. I mean, seriously. We think we're here to save the world from all kinds of things. Save our kids, save our husbands, save our, colleagues, save our boss. The business is his business. The boss's business is going to fall apart if I don't show up. I don't think so, ladies. It might feel that way because they are so dependent on us because we keep saying yes. That makes us feel indispensable.
Yes.
But I'm here to tell you, it's not going to shut down if you get sick or
shut
move out of state or whatever.
None of that. When I came to Canada too, another thing my dad said to me, he says, Karen, I'm going to tell you something, and you might think it makes sense because at home we go to the market every day. There's fresh market, fresh thing, cookies and nothing. We buy one day a week, and we cook on Sundays or pick a day. And if you want prep the food to come in and do it, is great. But you don't come from work and come in and cook. Don't practice anybody in those habits because if you start it, you're going to have a hard time ending.
Mm-hmm.
He says, even for your own self, like he has given me some things that I still stand by. And when my husband first came, because he accustomed to fresh food, he says, Karen, I'm not going to leave leftover. I'm not going to eat leftovers. And I said, okay, buddy, I'm not arguing with you. But let me tell you, I didn't cook more than the Sundays, leftover as it was, or don't eat. I was okay because he's got two
Exactly.
hands.
There you go.
So these are part of the things. It's like also when you own a business, guys, and and you decide to hire somebody, they're not going to do things great. So you have to give them a lot of things to get them in there that they're going to mess up, but it's not going to be detrimental to your business.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're teaching, don't worry about what's going to go waste, whether it's making something or showing a service. Don't ever worry about that. I've hired people specifically who cannot clean, but they had a good attitude. They were so willing, eager, and they needed to be paid. And I
Yes.
know I will pay people. And so I generously give of my time teaching them
Mm.
because I know they're going to be good employees and so happy for the opportunity. Not take advantage of, but be generous with my time. So one of the ladies still is with me. After we talked the other day, she's like, Karen, this is how many years I know you? Is it 18 or 20 years? And when
Mm-hmm.
she came to me, she said, I do not like to clean. I don't want to clean, but I
Mm-hmm.
need to make an income.
Okay.
And I will do whatever you teach me to do the best way I can. And she shined like nobody's business. Let me tell you, I was generous with my time, and she rewarded me by doing great in my company.
Wow.
Period.
There
And a
you
couple
go.
others. So when I say generous, is not only to volunteer, but if you got a business and somebody really you see that they have a good attitude and they don't know anything, you could literally develop a little course teaching some admin and then let
Oh.
them take over that admin position. We
Mm.
want everybody who know everything already. Sometimes the problem with those people is they are set in their ways. And so when you have a system, they don't even want to follow it because they're like, that's not how I do it. I'm not doing that. No.
She doesn't know what she's talking about. I've been doing this for 50 years. Yeah,
Right?
okay. So I'm just going to do it my way anyway. I'm going to
Mhm,
sit here, I'm going to listen to the training, and then I'm
mhm,
going to go and do what I want to do.
mhm. Yes.
Wow.
I had a consultant. I told a lady that the other day because she got a cleaning business. She was just didn't know what to do. And I said to her, I said, you're gonna have to let go of all those people that you have hired. She said, say what? I said, yes, they need to go. What am I gonna do with my client? Call each of your clients. You're not that big yet. Call each of your client, let them know where you stand. The good ones are going to stay, and you let them know I'm gonna bring in new people. No,
Mm.
you don't have to let all them go at once, but the worst ones, they need to go, which was two, they need to go. And then you need to keep the ones that is not as spicy, and then you need to hire.
It's called spicy. Okay.
And then you hire some new people because they can't come in and tell you how it's going to be done. And then
Mm-hmm.
you're going to have to be generous again in your time, and you're not going to have to think it's too much. You can get to work. I did this. Literally go to the person's house, sat there, and watch them clean. Every fiber in my being wanted to get up and do it. Because when you're owner, that's what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I sit there, and then once they're finished the room, I inspect it. And I did this several times. Those produced my best employees because I'm not making them feel bad. And no, I am there to train, but I have to watch you do it. And
Mm-hmm.
I tell the owners, hey, she's new. I'm training her. I probably get them a 10 or 20% discount. We might
Mm-hmm.
spend an extra hour or two because she wouldn't be able to go as fast. You see, when you explain to people,
Yes.
they're happy to accommodate, but don't try to sneak it in because then they're upset.
Oh.
Why is she here 2 hours later? I don't want to pay for it. But if I say, hey, your home is going to take 5 hours, but we'll probably be there for 7 because, but you don't have to pay for the extra 2 hours if she went over the time.
Mm-hmm.
I had a client for nearly 4 years. You know how many training I did in his and his wife's house for that 20% off? They were like, Karen, if you got a new girl center. Sometimes the wife would say to me, she said, you don't even have to send them. I know your system's so good. I said, so how come you're not cleaning? She said, I don't want to clean. But when you girls come, I could give them whatever you need. And that's the deal we had. I would go the first day, but she was like, your boss would want this, this, and this. Because Karen and I is good. She used to like say, Karen and I are good. You have to tell people though. You can't just
Mhm.
squeeze it in. That's the key.
That
People
makes
want
sense.
to help, but they want you to tell them. No, they're gonna have the ones that say no, and that's okay. Those are naive peeps. This is why in the cleaning world you should have tester houses, cleaner houses where you go train people. You say to these 3, 4 people, "Hey, you want a 20% discount because I want to use your house as a training?" They know what to do, but and there's people who's gonna say yes. They
Mhm.
live for the discount. You'll be fine.
Yes.
You know.
So the joy of giving. Oh my gosh. Coach Caren, how can we avoid giving our life away to people that we love? Yeah, I mean, to the point where we're excessive with it. You know what I mean? How do we set boundaries? I guess is the question.
Yeah. And that's a little hard one because it pulls at your heartstrings. That's what it does.
Hmm.
It really pulls at your heartstrings. And I ask people to sit in the pain because it is a sort of pain, fear, and scariness happening all at once. So I'm going to give a perfect example. If my granddaughter needed to have a bath and her mom is not here yet, and I know she's going to be here in about 20 minutes, the care in me want to just go give her the bath and say, when my daughter come in, what's the big deal?
Yes. Hmm.
Here's the problem over time. She's now extending her time in because if she stay out a little longer, mom will get the bath done. Now, she didn't say that. I didn't think she's deliberately doing it, but I understand humans. So here's my thing. I'd say to my daughter, you need to be here by 7 because X, Y, and Z need a bath. So this can happen. And if she says, if she has something to do, now she calls me ahead of time and say, Mom, I can't come in for X, Y, and Z. Could you? Or I might be a little late. So we get to establish that because I could say it for me, it happening to me because I got excited and was really putting myself and neglecting me and my business. I was doing a lot. So when it happens though, inside of me feel like I could do it. I got the time. I'm just sitting on the couch. I'm watching TV. Like literally, I would go through this whole scenario. And so I want first to let you know you should go through the scenario and feel bad, whatever you need to feel. Go feel the feeling. Just don't act on it. Don't make the feeling make you do the thing, but feel it and have a way of explaining to yourself, literally explaining to yourself why you're not going to do it.
That's good. Have a conversation with yourself.
Mhm, mhm.
Hmm.
And why you're
Wow.
not going to do it. Yep. And then you don't do it. Please don't do it.
Resist. Resist the
Resist.
temptation to
Yes.
keep giving all of your life away.
Yes. Resist it. I learned this a couple of ways. I had a teacher, Miss Barrow. I loved her to pieces. That woman was bright, than bright than bright. When I say a bright, I look at a bright person, bright genius. All the words exude her and beautiful. And I used to write for a friend who was very slow in the fists. She everything she did very slowly. And she came to me one day and she says, Caren, I want you to cut it out. I said, but it doesn't do anything. I mean, I finished quickly so I can help her. She says, I know. And she's allowing you. Today is your last day. The next day, I was feeling so terrible, Terry, because my friend is punishing, I felt, and I am not helping her. And I could. And my teacher will not allow me to help her. Let me
Well,
tell you what the girls start doing writing faster. Mhm. Yes. Not as, but faster.
mhm.
And she started doing more. But myself and probably other people were always helping her. And she had figured out how to maneuver without it looking like she's asking for help, but getting help. And let me tell you, people do this all the time. They start since in primary school and they move into college. I was in college with a girl like that, two of them, and I put her in a place immediately because she brought back the memory to me. She would not show up for class, and then she'd come to me. She said, Karen, I know you take good notes. So can I get your notes? I just want to photocopy them. I said, no. She said, you're not going to let me? Like, how's that going to affect you? I said, it wouldn't, but I'm not giving it to you. You've been skipping school 2 to 3 days a week. She goes, my daughter is sick. I said, and then you come back with an attitude. Now, anybody else can give you, but I'm not giving you my notes. She says, other people's notes are not as good as yours. It's not organized. I said, I'm not giving you my notes. And we fell out. And I was okay with the friendship severing itself because she started to use me. I did it more a couple of times, and I realized like the thing came back to me. I'm like, she's taking more days off of the week because Caren is going to get.
Exactly. Karen's going to go to class for her.
And I was helping in other ways financially and different little things I was doing, and I was getting sucked in. And I was like, okay, you got to cut ties. So I want you to know that you're going to feel bad. You're going to feel terrible. I want you to understand that. That is part of it. That is part of pulling your string. That is part of you doing somebody's work when you're at work. This is part of manipulation that people has figured what to do, and not when they met you, their whole lives before you. So this is their personality. This is part of their pattern.
Yes, because the way you
do it.
The way you do one thing.
But you don't know because it comes so subtle that you get sucked in before you understand what's happening. But yes. I'm aware of it. So I allow the pain. I allow the hurt that I'm feeling that I could, but I'm not doing it. And then I do what I say I'm going to do, and only that. So that's how you handle that. And so that leads us into number 3, which is, how does this affect you when you overgive generously? What it does for you? Well, it depletes you.
Yes.
You are drained, because you can be drained. And let me tell you, I'm talking about a physical thing. My son, my eldest son, Paul, is the one who would talk about a mental drain. He says, Mom, there is people who call you, and when you're finished with them, you look drained. Stop giving them your time. And I was thinking, he was at his store, and it's like, what are you talking about? And I had 2 Pacific friends. We're still talking, but not that deep anymore. He says, they bring everything and they dump it at the door. Not physically, Mom, but you get all of it. And then you're off with them, and now you need water. You need to put your feet up. They're taking it from you.
They're depleting all your energy.
And he wasn't lying, and I didn't notice until he brought it up. I'm like, thank you, son.
Because people around us can see the effect on us and how long it takes us to recover.
Yes. Yes.
We just sort of, that the conversation's over.
Yeah.
However,
so you have to do those things, people, it could be anything, guys. It could be somebody need gas in their car. It could be somebody, need money to pay a bill for something. And I've supplied all these things. So that's why I'm bringing them up. There's people need to go to the hospital. I had a friend, she suffered bad migraine. She died now. And Terry, 3 months in, I could not keep money in my purse, because if I'm not paying for a cab to take us to the emergency, I'm paying for one to bring us back, then I have to fill the prescription. I mean, I don't have to, but I found myself on this roller coaster. And she wasn't feeling well. And so all the time, if she needed a doctor appointment, she said, Caren, would you come with me? And I feel so terrible. I said, I'll come with you, make it after work. I'll be there. And I would. But I realized she was depleting me of everything. I couldn't have anything. And I think the snap it was when she didn't have a space to stay. She spent some time with me. And I had a porcelain tin, a big porcelain tin, so big, a big piggy. And it was empty by the time she was ready to left, because she needed whatever, and the money just disappeared. I felt it didn't disappear. I felt. Yes. And I realized she was a depleter. And I didn't know this, but I learned because I've been introduced to several of her other friends. And over time, her daughter said to me, Caren, you was her only friend. Everybody has left. I'm so sorry to tell you this, but this is what my mom does. I know it's come crazy for a daughter to say that, but I really like you. And I would hate to see that you just leave her too. But this is it. This is what she does. She depletes people. And of course, I confronted her.
Also because we don't have a consciousness about our boundaries. And that's why I said, there's joy in giving.
Yes.
But like you said, it needs to be planned.
It needs to be planned. You got a friend and you find she's taking he or she from you a lot. Have a conversation with them. For me, I had to. I did like her. She was my daughter's godmother too. And because when people are doing something for a long period, they don't start seeing what we're seeing anymore. The lines are blurred. It's their way of lives.
Hmm.
And if whether they mean to or not, you get sucked into it. So this is the things I wouldn't do anymore. This is the places I wouldn't go with you anymore. If we're leaving and we're going, I will ask, do you have money to pay for it? And if they say, I said, then I'm not coming with you. Like literally, I had to be saying those words. I hated it. It felt so terrible to say, but I had to. Or you get to dinner with a bunch of friends and they're looking at their purses for money. I'm not a bank. What the heck? And you
Exactly.
feel bad? Like, no, you got to condition your mind. And if you really, really love somebody, whether it's family or friends, and you know this is the pattern, ask the question, do you have money for us to go to dinner? I know you invited me, but do you have money? Not to pay for me, but for yourself. Do you have money for transportation back home? Your car have gas in it.
So now we're treating them like teenagers because that's the way they're acting. They're irresponsible. So
I
now
don't
you
like it,
want,
but it's true.
so now you want us to be your mother.
I don't want to be, but I don't want to be finding myself in that situation, you
Hmm.
know? And if it's a partnership, let me tell you this one quickly. If it's a partnership that usually want to start a business. A girl and I was going to start a daycare because she knew I had a really successful one and she wanted to come on board. And I had to keep reminding her, we need to get these documents. The government has to approve X, Y, and Z. Like we have to subject to this stuff. And she's saying yes, but I'm the one always reminding her. I got out of that partnership before it got off the ground, Terry, because I
Hmm.
realized what I would be doing.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Because and so here's the thing, guys. When you are thinking about the joy of giving, don't just think about giving to others. Think about giving to yourself. Give
Yes.
yourself the freedom to say no. Give
Yes.
yourself the freedom to say, I'm not available for that
Mhm.
assignment.
Yes. I love that one. I love that. I stole that from Terry. I love. I'm not
I'm not
available for the
available.
assignment, or she says, I'm leaving something for God to do. I use her name all the time when I'm.
You know what I'm saying? When I'm having conversations with myself, I definitely use leave something for God to do, Terry. You're not God, these people's God. You know what I'm saying? And he said he would supply all their needs.
Yes.
Okay,
Not
not
Terry, not
Terry.
Karen.
So with that, we just want to thank you guys. We hope that you'll enjoy this season of giving and also remember to set some boundaries in the process and to plan.
Yes.
Is there something I missed, Coach? When it comes to giving.
Yes.
So with that, we want to remind you, it's good to make money in your business.
Yes.
So remember, you can always find Coach Karen over at Profits in
In daily.
Daily. Hey, and if you really want to get a head start, book an appointment with Coach Karen.
Let's do
Take
this
that
up.
screenshot, guys, and do it so that you can get a good start from a source that is really, really knowledgeable about running a business and the different feelings that we have around our money, around, what's really going on here, people. Okay. Okay. So with that, we want to remind you that if you like to be a part of the Biz Chicks community, which we would love for you to do, you
Hmm.
can join Biz Chicks by texting biz to 33777, or you can go to bizchicks.net and become a part of our community. We'd
Yes.
love to share with our community what it is you do and how you serve. With that, we remind you that we'll be here um, Monday through Friday talking about your business and giving you some tips on how to run that profitable business that's
That's
fun to run and take the hassle
out
out
of the
of
hustle.
your hustle. Bye bye, everyone. Thank you again, Coach.
Oh, you're welcome. Bye bye.
Have a great day, everyone.